We the peoples, 75 years under UN Charters remains resolute in placing people at the heart of the Lao PDR development. In commemoration of the 75th anniversary of United Nations, Mr. Saleumxay Kommasith, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Ms. Sara Sekkenes, UN Resident Coordinator, reflect on the history of the Lao PDR, UN partnership, and what the future may hold. Details in the following special news report on strengthening the Lao PDR United Nations partnership for the future we want.
We the peoples, the first words of the founding charters of United Nations or UN, adopted in 1945, give the UN its vision and mission. The ideals of the UN, peace, equality, and dignity, serve as beacons towards a better world for all and still hold true today.
Where everybody spreads.
These commitments have produced results. Over the past 75 years, the UN has combated hunger and poverty, immunized millions of children, strengthened universal values and rights, and advanced gender equality.
Children can go anywhere.
The UN has shown leadership in peace negotiations, fought for stability, and elevate the suffering of those affected by conflicts and natural disasters. Here in the Lao PDR, the government and the UN have built a long-standing cooperation in partnership to reduce poverty rates and undernourishment, improve primary school enrollments, and since 1990, halve the mortality rate of children under 5 years old. We continue to work together on strategic areas such as governance, promoting inclusive growth, addressing the multidimensional obstacles posed by unexplored ordnance, or UXO, and securing livelihoods and basic service for all, strengthening resilience to shocks and natural disasters, and advancing human development. However, the history of the UN is not linear, and many of these achievements are intertwined with setbacks and adversity. Whilst there have been important gains, the world has also been plagued by growing inequalities, armed conflicts, terrorism, insecurity, and climate change.
When so many of us are still hungry,
people in different corners of the world are forced to make dangerous journeys in search of refuge and safety, and many of the globe's least developed countries, or LDCs, continue to fall behind.
we must free ourselves from the tyranny of poverty.
It is this complexity combined with the resolve to uphold the core values of the UN Charters that continues to drive the organization and its membership forward, seeking new and innovative ways to progress a sustainable development agenda that leaves no one behind.
We all start to flourish.
The UN's 75th anniversary affords us an opportunity to not only reflect on what has been achieved, but to ask questions about what future we want and how we collectively can ensure a UN fit for purpose in building a more sustainable, equitable, and peaceful world.
We are shaping.
COVID-19 has touched everyone everywhere, precisely the kind of global challenge for which the UN must show leadership and strength. The multifaceted impact of pandemic has laid bare the world's fragilities, and once again highlight when we are unable to solve the global challenge, those most vulnerable are disproportionately affected. It further reaffirms multilateral cooperation and solidarities that stretch across borders and generations is essential for a shared prosperity.
Critically ill COVID-19 patients.
How well we work together in overcoming this pandemic is likely to be a precursor for the even greater challenge of the climate crisis.
Doctors and nurses from the virus that
The collapse of diverse ecosystems, increasing inequalities, new forms of violence, and rapidly changing technology and population shifts.
Speech emerged, but our charter shows how to rise.
Our response will determine how fast the world recovers and whether we achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, that remains the blueprint for a better human-centered development.
The United Nations General Assembly was
It is critical that we take this time to reaffirm our shared commitment to the roadmap and aspirations the SDGs provide in achieving our development priorities, shaping the future of the 5 critical dimensions of the 2030 Agenda, the 5 P's of people, prosperity, planet, partnership, and peace.
Development goals are our guide. They are a to-do list for people and planet, and the blueprint for success.
The 5 P's give us a way to rethink development. For too long, the dominant economic growth model has driven our decision-making priorities, leading to unsustainable and exclusive advancement at the cost of our environment and socio-economic well-being.
While fellow UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador Angelique Kidjo underscored a focus
to ensure that we are in the best position to meet the challenge of tomorrow and secure a prosperous quality of life for future generations, society must broaden its understanding of progress, investing in the complexity and intersectionalities that builds resilience and connect communities, and taking people-centered and oriented approach to decision-making.
Across the country, which has made nearly all provinces and able to adapt to the impact of climate change. Developing countries, and in particular, the least developed ones, are the most vulnerable, including, in particular, my own country.
In the Lao PDR, there's great potential for such a vision as the government moves towards cementing its commitments for a greener, quality-ensured, focused, and sustainable national development, the 9th 5-year National Socio-Economic Development Plan. This intent is evident in the recent launch of the National Social Protection Strategy 2025 that sets out a vision for all Lao people to be protected by a basic social protection floor. The country's green growth strategies and engagement in the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change further position Lao PDR to capitalize on its natural assets through a sustainable and inclusive growth model. Lao PDR is also acutely aware of its obligation to catalyze investments for the younger generation, focusing on improved nutrition and education outcomes for children, while scaling digital infrastructure investments and key sustainable growth industry, including tourism. As we contend with the COVID-19 crisis and the call to build back better, Lao PDR can drive investment targeting the 5 P's, unlocking a prosperous and sustainable future for all. It is crucial that we work together in shaping an inclusive growth model and cultivating a pathway towards a sustainable graduation from the least developed country, or LDC status.
In 2020, the United Nations turned 75.
The UN has for the last 75 years stood tall in building international cooperation and promoting multilateralism, whilst upholding and driving the normative agenda and universal human rights in pursuit of the founding ideals set out in the UN Charter.
The Charter was signed 75 years ago, and its principles ring just as true today.
No other global organization gives hope to so many people for a better world.
These enduring values will carry us to a new future.
It is with this history, experience, and insight that the government of the Lao PDR and the UN continues to embrace the possibility and challenge in front of us, learning from our partnership and multilateral frameworks to find innovative ways in shaping the world the way we want.
These enduring values will carry us to a new future.
This op-ed is co-authored by Mr. Saleumxay Kommasith, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Lao PDR, and Ms. Sara Sekkenes, UN Resident Coordinator to the Lao PDR. The resolution adopted by the UN General Assembly in 2015 speaks to the 5 dimensions of people, prosperity, planet, partnership, and peace.